Good morning. My name is Don Carter. I take care of sales in the Northwest, and that includes here in the Willamette Valley with our berry harvesters. I do have a couple of gentlemen with me, Brad Bonney, who also works with me in the Willamette Valley on sales, and then Brian Foote, who is our primary berry salesman. He works out of our Linden office, and he works with some of our dealers in other regions of the country. First off, having grown up in the Northwest and always having blueberries my whole life, I grew up, there was a field about 20 acres about a quarter mile from my house. So I've grown up with blueberries, and he talks about the explosion in blueberries the last 10 years, and you keep wondering, what's going to happen with all these blueberries? Who's going to eat all these things? Well, interesting story. A couple of years ago, we have a couple of companies that we work with in Europe, and one of them is in France, and we brought one of their service technicians over to work with us here in the Northwest with some of our vegetable equipment. And during his stay, I took him out on a couple of demos that I did, and one of them was in a blueberry field. And he ate some of them, and he said, "These things are fabulous. What are they?" And that shocked me that somebody from France, I mean, I know that, obviously there's some countries where they don't know them that well, but you would have thought that everywhere in Europe would understand what blueberries were. But, that they probably had them in like a muffin or something, but he'd never had blueberries. So, keep planting. I'm going to focus primarily on our changes. Our top loader is the Model 7420. It's on the first sheet there. It has the rear deck as well, the raises and lowers. It holds 3 pallets. And this last year, we made a couple changes. We added 6 inches to the width of the chassis, and then also added some space up in the front corners. And that was directly from results of doing demos and sales that we've done down here in the Willamette Valley. And we've learned that, particularly in the blackberries, that you just cannot have too much space. And working with the flats and with the storage and stuff, we wanted to be able to move them around easier on the deck. Therefore, we've added that 6 inches of width. And then we also wanted to have more space just to store the flats. So we added that space in the front corners. And then for 2015, we've actually added an extra 9 inches into the middle of the machine. So the machine now, between the operator station and the elevators, there's an additional 9 inches of space. So it can hold up to 6 pallets on it. We can put 3 on the rear deck. We very commonly will put 2 up in the front. There is swinging gates so that you can side load the 2 middle pallets, and then swinging gates at the rear to unload the 3 rear pallets. And then in extreme cases, if you need extra space, we do have room to be able to put a 6th pallet into the center. And but that got a little bit clumsy in trying to get that many pallets on there and fill it up with flats, which was the reason for adding that additional 9 inches. And 9 inches doesn't seem like a lot, but when you climb up there on the deck and you got pallets on there, it's amazing how much that increased our space. The cleaning system, we do have the lower knife edge fan. That's where the lower beltways drop into the bucket line. And we have upgraded the fan, the pressure fan that we're using there. We're using a Prairie fan now. It's a steel or an aluminum housing fan. It's very, very durable and a little bit easier to adjust. Also, with adding that 9 inches into the chassis, our lower beltways, there's an incline before it goes into the elevator. And by adding that 9 inches, we were able to decrease the angle of that incline, because in the higher yielding, that could be an area that would limit our overall ability. So, apologize, I'm trying to remember what else I have on my slide.
We apologize. Sorry.
we've got the 3 different heads. The one that we've been demoing the most lately has been our orbital head. It is very popular with caneberries, and instead of the shake side to side, the orbital head actually goes both side to side and up and down. So if you look at the tip of the rod, it's actually making an O, hence the name for the orbital. And we found out that head is very selective in doing multiple picks with caneberries. It also works very well with doing first pick in blueberries when you're trying to get that fresh market quality. Yep, we're good. Okay, I'll try to go quickly here now. So this was the model 7420. This wasn't this past year, but we do now offer 2 different lengths, the standard length machine, and then we went with an extended length, added an extra 29 inches of catching up in the front. And the key to this was that we're getting the catchers underneath the plant before we're compressing it. So hopefully any berries that would fall off, we're catching them. This is where we added the, on the sides, 3 inches to each side for a total of 8.6 square feet. The front corners, added another 11 feet. And then this is showing, this is one option that we have for putting 6 pallets on, where if you're not using any inspection space, you can actually put side-by-side pallets. More commonly here, and I don't have a picture of it, would be to have the inspection space and then just have a single pallet here, a single pallet here, and then 3 across the back. So this one has actually got the narrow chassis that doesn't fit the 3 across the back, but the standard one does. We also moved the driver further forward. That was a complaint that we'd gotten in a few different places, that they just felt that we were too far back, that it was difficult to look forward and make sure that we were staying on the center of the plant. Then this is that incline I was telling you about. This is the 2014 version. I wasn't able to get a picture of the 2015, but that incline has been decreased by 5 degrees. Swinging gates, we've got the option. We do still have the pull-out gates, but we found that the swinging gates are pretty popular. You don't have any center posts that you have to worry about hitting with the forklift, so you just have a nice wide open area. Don't have to worry about running over the gates that you're laying on the ground. So they just fold all the way forward and out of the way. The inspection belts, we've got a few different options here. We can make this different lengths. This one has got the short length on it currently. There's also a 9-inch extension and an 18-inch extension to make those longer. And we also have an option where we can raise the entire assembly up 9 inches. It makes it a little bit harder to truck. If you put it on a low boy, you're going to be over 15 foot tall. But in the field, when you're filling lugs, you don't have to bend over at all. The lugs are at standard height. So when you're up there doing that for 8, 12 hours a day, it's not having to bend over. We also do have optional steering brakes. I found this to be very handy in a couple of demos that I did last year. You get in some really, really muddy conditions to the point that you're still moving, but you're having a difficult time steering and staying centered. And by using the steering brakes, actually we're able to stay centered on the plant. And in a situation where commonly you would just turn the machine off and just try to make sure you could drive out of there, we were actually able to leave the machine running, stay centered, and drive through the mud bogs. LED lighting is now standard on all the machines. Then our model 8000 for single drop fruit. This machine was updated in 2013. We made some changes to the tunnel to try to ease the plant coming in and get the nose underneath and make sure that it's lifting the canes up into the head a little better than the previous version. We also did a new electrical system. You now have a total control joystick where you can turn on virtually all your functions. Your leveling is all handled, taken care of through the joystick handle. And then we have the +1 display system. This is giving you all your readings for your belt speeds and head speed and everything. And you can also make the changes and adjustments through that screen. And then it is a one-drop machine, so we're filling on both sides of the machine. The fruit comes down onto the catchers into the beltway that raises up. There is a pressure fan that blows through the fruit, removing leaf material, and then you're catching the fruit right here at the bottom for storage. It is very common. A lot of people will put trailers behind them and load the fruit onto trailers, or there is room to load approximately a pallet on either side of the machine.